There is something weirdly entertaining about a creepy ghost story or an ancient mythological being. From the chupacabra to the Loch Ness Monster, some myths have become incredibly notorious. But what about the lesser-known but equally terrifying myths? In this list, you will learn about 5 ghastly ghosts and monstrous myths from various countries that are not usually the top choice for scary storytelling. Make sure you have the lights on for this one. In the late 1800s, an Irish cook named Ryan traveled to New Brunswick, Canada to work as a cook at a logging camp near the Dungarvan River. One of his duties was to wake everyone else up for breakfast, which he would do with a series of loud whoops and hollers. His boss was a short-tempered man who demanded that Ryan hand over the life savings he was carrying to help fund the camp. Ryan refused. The following day, the men went on a hunting trip, while Ryan's boss ordered Ryan to stay behind with him. The men came back to find Ryan dead and his money missing. The boss ordered the men to bury the body in a shallow grave in the forest. It's said that Ryan started haunting the camp with loud whoops and shrieking noises. Terrified, the men bolted from the camp, including the boss, and never returned. For decades after, people claimed they could hear Ryan's cries ringing through the forest near the Dungarvan River. After the Father Le Loutre War in 1749, a French nun named Sister Marie went to New Brunswick, Canada, to help the colonists who had escaped from the British. Soon after Sister Marie arrived in the colonists' community, the British heard they had evaded capture and were looking for them. As a trusted community member, the colonists gave their valuables to Sister Marie in case they were captured. She buried them in a safe place to stop them from being stolen. A few days later, Sister Marie was crossing through some woods when she was attacked by a group of men. They demanded that she reveal the location of the buried valuables, but when she refused, they chopped off her head. Soon after, Sister Marie's body was sent back to France minus a head. There were sightings of someone walking down the path she walked every night. One day, a man was walking down the path, and he noticed a nun emerging from the woods. But he screamed in terror as she came closer. She was headless. Legend has it that she can be seen wandering around in the middle of the night on a full moon, searching for her missing head. They say a dog is a man's best friend, but the Klut is one canine you do not want by your side. In Dutch folklore, the Klut is a shapeshifter that often takes the form of a huge dog. Legend says that the Klut stalks the deserted roads in Belgium, searching for unsuspecting travelers at night. The only thing that can be heard before the beast launches its attack is the sound of chains. Once the Klut has found its victim, it is said to jump onto the victim's back, forcing them to the ground where the creature's razor-sharp claws and teeth rip them apart. So, if you are hiking through the Dutch countryside, staying off the roads at night is best. But if you have no other choice and you hear the sound of chains rattling, run. In a time when arranged marriages were common in Ireland, there was a young woman who fell in love with a peasant in her village. But her evil father decided to sell her to a rich but cruel man, the local chieftain. After the forced marriage, she suffered under his cruel ways, being locked away for weeks at a time and used as a trophy. She became extremely depressed, stopped eating, and eventually died. Her husband soon remarried, and her father was too elated with his new fortune to care about his deceased daughter. The woman's spirit was so enraged that it was forced out of her grave, thirsty for revenge. She killed her father and her evil husband, draining the chieftain of his blood. The Dierk, as she became known, then developed an insatiable taste for human blood. She started luring men to dark and hidden places, where she would attack them and drain them of blood. But the legend says that she then disappeared. What happened? Is she still prowling around, searching for new victims? There is something eerie about old, creaky bridges, but the old Alton Bridge in Dallas, Texas deserves a special mention when it comes to creepiness. According to the local legend, underneath the old Alton Bridge is home to a demonic creature known as the Goat Man. Witnesses say the menacing creature is a terrifying sight, standing 8 feet tall, with the head, legs, and hooved feet of a goat, and the arms and chest of a man. It also sports huge horns and evil eyes. According to legend, if the Goat Man's name is spoken by someone crossing the bridge, the monstrous creature will be summoned. Although he is said to sleep underneath the bridge during the day, the Goat Man comes out at night to hunt for food. But if his name is spoken during the day, he becomes even more aggressive, probably annoyed at being woken up. It is also believed that the bridge is a gateway to hell, and some people have reported seeing horrifying visions of brimstone and fire when crossing the bridge at exactly 3 a.m. If you are a paranormal enthusiast, then a visit to the Goat Man's Bridge is well worth it. Just do not go at 3 a.m. and do not speak his name. So, what do you think? Is there any truth in these stories, or are they just stories?